A dramatic finale saw Kent Spitfires miss out against Glamorgan at Tunbridge Wells, the home team slipping to just their fourth defeat of this season's NatWest T20 blast as they lost by a single run when 2 wickets fell off the final 2 balls of the match, although Kent will still finish top of the South Group. Batting first after winning the toss, Glamorgan lost Colin Ingram at the end of the second over as he drilled a catch to Sam Northeast, who had to dive to his right at extra cover to complete the dismissal. But Jacques Rudolph then went after the bowling to give his side an encouraging start. 52 runs coming off the power play before Matt Hunn, who was given a T20 debut, struck in his second over, removing danger man Rudolph for 37, the South African dragging on. Kent, as they've done throughout this tournament, kept a lid on things for the most part, although Chris Cook was able to clear the rope off the returning Stevens. And then Ben Wright did the same off James Treadwell, Glamorgan taking their total up to 78 at the halfway stage of their innings. But by then they were 3 down, having lost Wright, who picked out Hunn at deep square leg off a Treadwell full toss. Then in the next over, the 11th, Fabian Cowdrey had Craig Macheda held by Mitch Claydon at short third man off a mistimed slice. Hunn was very impressive and was again rewarded for bowling straight, fooling Mark Wallace with an excellent slower ball on 3, with a total on 94 for 5 at the start of over number 13. It looks as if a final score of around 150 would be the best the visitors could hope for, but Cook had other ideas and he ruined Hunn's figures in the youngster's last over, twice hitting him for 6s as the bowler's last over went for 15 runs. But he was still able to finish with the fine figures of 3 for 30 as he had Cook caught by Daniel Bell-Drummond with his last delivery. A wicket was left Glamorgan on 117 for 6 with 5 overs remaining. Only singles were struck off the next one, but then Graham Wagg, a man who suddenly has become one of the country's best strikers of a cricket ball, started to hit out. These 2 maximums ending the 18th over, which did have the visitors beyond 150 and finishing their innings off strongly. Glamorgan entered the final over on 164 for 6 and Callum Haggett began it by bowling David Lloyd for 12. Only for Wagg to take 16 runs off the final 4 deliveries with 2 more maximums. That had him at a 50 off only 28 balls, with his side ending on a much more challenging total than it looked like they would get at one point. Thanks to Wagg, they finished on 179 for 7. The Spitfires have such confidence in this competition that still should not have caused too much concern, and it certainly didn't for Joe Denley, who was very quickly out of the blocks. Something he's done consistently this summer. He found the boundary 5 times from his first 10 deliveries to give his team an ideal start to their chase. And then the 12th ball he faced brought him his first 6, which had himself on 30 after only 3 overs. It was some start from the man who represented England 5 times in this format. Thanks to Denley, Bell-Drummond was able to settle in, these 2 opening up with a stand of 59 in the first 5.2 overs. Ingram then removed Bell-Drummond for 19, Rudolph with the catch coming in off the boundary at long on. Denley the destroyer was at a fantastic 50 off only 27 balls at the end of over number 8, and he then went after Macheda. After making some good starts this summer, Denley was now going on for his team. The 100 was brought up in the 11th over, but then, to the dismay of a good crowd at the Neville ground, he holed out off Lloyd at long off to depart for an exhilarating 70, which had occupied just 36 deliveries and made the rest of the chase seem a rather comfortable one. Especially with Northeast maintaining his exceptional form in this format, this 6 brought the target down for 52 off the last 7 overs. Sam Billings will have been disappointed not to do a bit more. On 7 he went after Dean Koska, but found Andrew Salter in the deep. And then in the next over, the 15th, Northeast was out for 38 as he skied a shot off Wagg to Wallace behind the stumps. He left with his team needing 41 more runs to win from 5 overs. Darren Stevens then tucked into Macheda, 11 runs coming off over number 16, which meant that there shouldn't have been too much drama to complete a 10th victory from 13 games this year. But then there was, as Michael Hogan struck twice in 3 balls in the 18th. Cowdrey was LBW for a single as he walked right across his stumps. And then Alex Blake, who's put in many a match-winning performance this year, for once failed as he was bowled second ball for a duck, and that now left 22 more runs to find from the last 12 balls, which then became 15 off the last over. 6 came off the first 3 deliveries, and then Stevens cleared the rope just when he needed to bring the target down to 3 off the last 2. The all-rounder tried to finish it off, but found Cook, instead of the boundary he was looking for, to go for 29 and leave everyone at the ground biting their nails. Haggett was on strike and he had to come back for a second to tie the game, but was run out by Ingram. A cruel end to a classic game of blast cricket, which had all who watched it on the edge of their seats. The Spitfires ended on 178 for 8, and that meant a loss by the slimmest of margins, just 1 run. But Kent still have a game to go at Essex next Friday, and no one can now stop them from finishing on top of the South Group. They can already think ahead to a home quarter-final, likely to be against either Nottinghamshire or Lancashire.